everybody, and welcome to another edition of Clipboard Confessional with Bobby and Anthony. I'm one of your hosts, Anthony Aniano. Joining me, my colleague, all decked out. I think we know who he is rooting for on Thursday night as we approach week one of the NFL and your fantasy football season. My good friend and quite possibly the Philadelphia Eagles' number one fan, Mr. Bobby Wah. Bobby, it's here. It's knocking on the door. The kids are back at school. The pumpkin spice, everything is on the shelf. And it means it's football season, my friend. How are you today?
I am great. I'm alive. It's been a while since we spoke. I had my draft down in Dallas. We had our basketball game I told you about.
How'd that go?
Um,
Nobody
oh,
nobody popped an Achilles?
it was, I don't know how. It didn't happen. It was one of the worst physical experiences of my life. I knew it was going to be miserable. It was 100 degrees. We had to play outside at a middle school, like one of those outdoor hoops.
No give to
Three
those
mi-
rims.
the 3 minute, oh no, 3 minutes in, everyone was done. But we had to finish. The My team did win. The journey to glory was paved in misery. Um, I mean, legs were given out, people were rolling on the ground, like we just couldn't stand. It was bad. And I might keep myself in pretty good shape, but good night was that absolutely awful. And I hope we never do it again.
The rule of thumb, I truly believe this, as you hit the wrong side of 40, is all movements, you got to stay active, but all movements should be in a straight line going only forward and back. Any hard left or right turns is a recipe for disaster.
Did
So
we
stay moving forward, move back, and turn gently. And I think that's a general safe way to stay.
we were supposed to play to 11, and about 3 minutes, 4 minutes in, the score was like 2-0, and we decided, you know what, let's play to seven. Seven's good. So we just played the game to seven. Oh gosh, how
I'm
embarrassing.
pretty certain that's why cornhole was invented for guys our age to stay competitive yet stay safe.
We did a lot of that. We have a game in my fraternity. I think we invented it. I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere else. It's called Urban Horseshoes. So we played a lot of that. We played some can jam. So we definitely took care of the non-athletic events.
The spike ball was right there on the edge. I
Mm.
had to give that one up. I had to hang up the spike ball. That one was
Oh
getting
yeah,
a little too physical.
that
Spike
one's
ball gets a
exciting.
little too. Yeah, yeah. Can jam solid. I could throw a frisbee all day.
Yep.
Rotator cuff gets a little sore by the end, but I'm okay. I can work through that. But anyway, let's get into it. So it's football, right? It's Monday, September 1st, Labor Day. And we're recording here today to preview the week, right? Week one is upon us. A couple of days. Thursday night kickoff. We have a Thursday night game between Dallas at the Eagles. We have a front that's on NBC. Friday night game on YouTube TV between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Full slate of Sunday games, and then one Monday nighter a week from now, Minnesota at the Chicago Bears on ABC. Sunday night this week, good one on Sunday night, Baltimore and the Buffalo Bills. So in some nice games, and then a full slate of Sunday action. So for those of you new to Clipboard Confessional, we've previewed all the positions. We've gotten you ready for the fantasy season. Now we're going to take a look at some, I don't want to say every player, but we're going to take a look at some questions in each game. Stay away from the obvious and hit some questions. So we'll start with that. We'll go game by game here. We'll start with the Thursday night matchup. Dallas at your Philadelphia Eagles. And I think we know the guys who are playing, right? CeeDee Lamb is playing, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley. We're not debating them. No, those guys are in your lineups. But let's start on the Philadelphia side first. Devonta Smith. I think he's a safe play. I think he is in some, depending on how you drafted, your second or third wide receiver. Do you like Devonta in this matchup against the Dallas Cowboys?
He might be my favorite play of the game outside of Saquon Barkley. I think. Is there any? First off, is there any way that Philly doesn't put up 30?
Well, I mean, we didn't even mention it, but I mean, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, how do you not rebel against Jerry Jones right now
Yeah,
with that
he,
Micah trade? I mean, to me, he just gave up on that defense. He's just moving on. And, it's funny. I saw reports that Dallas is going to use those two picks to move up and draft Arch Manning. Well, let me tell you something. Ohio State just smacked Arch Manning back into reality. So he has a lot to prove if he's even going to be worth that, right?
But look, if you look at Dak's contract, I mean, maybe if they want to do that, Arch can sit on the bench for a year, maybe even two. It's going to be real tough to get out of Dak's contract in Dallas. But I think Philly puts up a bunch of points here. Saquon's obviously going to do his thing, but this pass defense, they're going to have almost no pass rush without Micah Parsons now. And Trayvon Diggs, it just came out. He might not even play. Not that that matters because he's always good to give up a touchdown. And Deron Bland just got paid. Guess what his passer rating given up was just last year? 116 was a passer rating that he gave up. Uh, this has, and I told you, I think that there's going to be um, positive regression in the Philadelphia passing game from previous years. And I think they light it up. And I think Devonta Smith, and keep in mind, AJ Brown's a little banged up. He's had a hamstring, just
Hmm.
kind of came back to practice about a week ago. And so I think this is going to be a Devonta Smith game for real.
Okay, so now I agree with you. I think it's a situation, especially what Dallas did with that trade. I push all in with the Eagles offense. If I'm even looking for a tight end, Dallas Goedert, I think, is in play as a low level tight end in a safe PPR format. Nothing exciting, but I could see 10 points, 5 for 50 type of game. On the Dallas side of things, Lamb, Dak is a fringe play. I don't necessarily trust him right away, but he's going to have to throw the ball if everything goes the way you say, where Philadelphia puts up points. But then the other question is, other than those two players, do you trust George Pickens? I think people do. I think people drafted him as a third wide receiver. And is there any chance you use anybody in the Dallas backfield?
So no, gosh, I am definitely not using anybody
Right,
in
the
the Dallas
backfield's
backfield.
off limits. Right, we
Yeah,
agree.
yes, yes, yes. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb's no brainer. Pickens is interesting. Um, EFF came out and they have Cooper DeJean as the 11th best rated corner coming into the year, and Quinyon Mitchell at 16. Now, Cooper doesn't stick to the outside. He moves into the slot, which actually hurts CD Lamb because they move Lamb around a lot, which they should. So it's really going to come up with that matchup. Who's going up against Khalil Ringo? And that's probably going to be Pickens. I don't know if they're going to have Quinyon shadow CD when he's on the outside and have Cooper on him on the inside. Probably what I would do. I think Pickens has a shot to do a little something, but I'm not starting him with a ton of confidence. Because keep in mind, it's not all about defensive backs. Pass
Yeah.
defense starts on the inside, and the Philadelphia Eagles can get after the passer.
Yes, they can.
In our dynasty league, I have a decision to make. I have Dak and Stafford. I love Dak long term, and all the stuff that we do leading into the season is about season long projections. But now that's not out the window, but it's sort of on the back burner because now it's week to week, and that changes things. I have
Yeah.
Dak, as a top 10 QB for the season. I do not have him as a top 10 QB this week. So
No,
I get
that's
a
fair.
Dak and Stafford. I'm flip flopping a little bit.
Stafford at home against Houston.
I know.
Um,
Houston also
I,
has a
I
pass
think
rush,
2 weeks ago you wouldn't have thought about it because we were concerned about Stafford's back, but
right?
that's been quieted down now. So I think it's in play with his receiving core. Fair enough. Um, I think we agree Philadelphia wins that game and quite possibly wins it pretty easily. I can't imagine how Dallas right now. Uh, I don't want to use the word motivated. It's the wrong word. But after what Jerry Jones did and trading arguably your best player, Mike or CeeDee Lamb, however you want to break it down. That's a tough one for the team to swallow. And I don't care how professional you are, when you see your owner doing that, it's tough to rise up. And I think they're going to deal with the consequences of that. All right, Friday night matchup, YouTube TV. Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Chargers. Fun game because we know the Chargers are moving in the right direction. Divisional game as well. Lad McConkey plays. Justin Herbert, a fringe top 12, definitely playable in a 2 QB format. My first question on the Charger side of things, Omarion Hampton. I'm utilizing him. The reality is you probably drafted him as your second running back. If you got him as your third, you feel great about it. Najee Harris is floating around, but I'm not as concerned about that. Are you as confident in Omarion Hampton right away to be in your starting lineup coming out week one?
No, I'm not. I'm
Cool.
probably going to play him, like you said, because you drafted him to probably be your RB2, definitely a flex. He'd probably sneak into the flex for me, depending on how my roster construction is on whatever league we're talking. But I don't feel great. The Chargers were the number one ranked scoring defense last year, and the Chiefs were fourth. If I'm betting this game, I'm taking the under. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of points scored here. And it doesn't make me feel great about the fantasy production for everybody involved.
Yeah. I mean, reports are that the Chargers are going to go running back 1A, 1B with him and Najee Harris. Um, you could say that in August. Production changes that philosophy very quickly if you're a head coach. So we will see what happens there. Now, what is fascinating to me is that the Kansas City Chiefs have now become a questionable offense. I
Sure.
really believe that. Um, Travis Kelce plays. Whether you like his production or not, he's still a top 10 tight end. Um, but Xavier Worthy, Patrick Mahomes, Pacheco, we know Rashee Rice is going to be on suspension for 6 weeks now. How do you break down? And that's a good Charger defense at home on Friday night. So, like, what do you look at when you see that Chiefs offense? It's not the slam dunk it once was.
Yeah, there might be three total touchdowns in this game, a couple field goals. So if that's the case and you're betting on anyone to score a touchdown, I think Travis Kelce jumps to the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's turning back the clock or anything, but he had such a down year in terms of touchdowns last year, way far off from his usual production. So for me, Kelsey's probably my favorite. If I had to pick an offensive play here, it might be Kelsey. I don't know what the run games are going to do for because one reason that Saquon got 2,000 yards last year is because Philly was leading at halftime, and in the second half they just fed
Yeah.
him the ball over and over and over again. That's not going to happen in this game. No one's going to get out to a big lead. It's going to be close. So we're not going to have that for Hampton or Pacheco. And I'm not sure the passing game. Worthy might get you a big long score. I think he's definitely a good GPP play if you want to throw that dart out there. Kelsey for me probably feels the safest, but other than
Is
that,
Mahomes a must start?
no, Mm-mm. Nope. I mean, I have him as a QB1 for the season, but again, this is not the season. This is a really good defense, and plus, I want to see. Everyone says, yeah, Kansas City's going to air it out this year. They're throwing it deep. Kind of want to see it before I, throw my Patrick Mahomes anchor out there.
Chiefs, Chargers are Chiefs are favored by 3. The total is 45.5.
Oof. I don't. I might go as soon as we get off here. I might hop on FanDuel and take the under on that one.
Taking these, hey, that's what I'm saying. Those are good defenses on a Friday night. It's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting game. And it's like for the Chargers, I hate to say it in week one, but it's a must win. Like if you want to put your stamp on this isn't just the Chiefs division anymore, you win this game at home. Right?
Yeah, correct.
You win this game
Yep.
at home. If you
And
want to say you're not waltzing to this division anymore, Kansas City. So it's going to be fun. All right, let's get into the Sunday afternoon action. And we got some interesting games, and we got some, let's be honest, not some interesting games. That's what happens in the NFL. Um, Arizona at New Orleans. Um, we'll start with Arizona. I think Kyler's in your lineup. Marvin Harrison's in your lineup. James Conner's in your lineup. Trey McBride is in your lineup. This is one of those offenses where the big four, you're going to have a hard time finding a reason to sit any of them. On the other side of things, New Orleans, tell me why I should play anybody other than Alvin Kamara.
I'm not sure that you should. I have in my league a record. We have two wide receiver, two running back, two flex. And so Chris Olave is in the running for one of my flex positions. Unless you have multiple flexes or you're starting three wideouts and a flex, unless you're in that type of situation, I do not recommend starting any Saints player. I think I've said this before on the show that I really believe in Arizona's defense. They were surprisingly pretty good last year. They brought in a bunch of pieces, and I think they're going to be improved. So you have a bad offense led by a bad Spencer Rattler quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, you, and you have a decent defense, this is that it's the Saints are in trouble, buddy.
Yeah, Chris Olave is a fringe play. Depending on the size of the league, right? If you're in a, like you said, you only play two wide receivers and one flex, maybe you get around them. You use three wide receivers and two flexes, then Olave's in.
Yep.
And 10 team, Olave's maybe on the outside. 12, 14 team, Olave's in. And that's where Olave is. You play your Cardinals. I love Marvin Harrison this year. I think year two is a big one for him, and I think it starts week one. Arizona's not going to make the mistake they made where he disappeared for whole games. I don't think that happens again. In fact, in a draft I just had, it just worked out. In round 4, I took Marvin Harrison as my second wide receiver to pair him with Malik Neighbors,
what a
right?
dream. What
And
a dream.
then it came back to me in round 5, and it was a 2 QB format, and I knew I could kind of wait. In round 5, I got McBride. I don't like having all my eggs necessarily in the Arizona basket, but the talent was just too good not to do it. To get the second best, in my opinion, tight end and Marvin Harrison as your second wide receiver, it just made too much sense. In another game what's that?
Well, real quick, I don't know if you do this on purpose, but flowing from that Kansas City game into this game was perfect. And this is probably why you're the best in the business. Because we talked about with Kansas City, no one's going to get ahead and feed the rock to the running back. But this game, you might even be able, if you're in a pickle, to start Trey Benson. Because now we don't know what his usage is going to look like with James Conner, but Arizona has said they want to give Benson some more work. Trey Benson was one of the draft Nick's favorite running backs coming out. A lot of folks had him number 1 2 years ago when he came out, battled
He's a
some
second
injuries or
round pick.
whatever.
You can't ignore him when you have a 30-year-old starter.
Right. And so if you want to keep Connor healthy, this is the perfect game to get midway through the third quarter. We're up by 2 scores, and then Trey Benson's got 15 carries in the last quarter and a half. You know what I'm saying? So
Or
granted,
what's
I'm not
interesting is, do you see Benson even earlier in the game where
right.
it's not an 80-20 or 90-10 split? It's 60-40
60-40.
in favor of Connor, and you got Connor throughout the game. And if
Right.
that's the case, if you're at the end of the first half and Connor's got 10 touches and Trey Benson's got 6 or 7, well, guess what? We're talking about Trey Benson as a must-add off the waiver wire for week 2 because if he's going to take that share of the workload, it's going to be
Yep.
valuable on your fantasy team.
Trey Benson's on a waiver wire right now. I'm scooping him up. I'm not letting him get to week
Yeah,
1. I don't want people to see this
yeah,
game.
yeah. A second-year running back with a high draft capital paired with a aging but still effective running back. I'm not disparaging Connor, but he is 30, right? He's on the wrong side of 30. It just makes too much sense. Carolina against the Jacksonville Jaguars Sunday at 1 o'clock. Chuba Hubbard for Carolina. I think Ted McMillan is a must start. I really do. If especially if you're using 3 wide receivers there. Other side of the ball, Jacksonville. All right. You have Brian Thomas. You're probably going to start Travis Hunter because you want to, plant the flag on that draft pick. What about the running game of the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is there any interest in taking a flyer on an ATN or anybody else in that Jaguars backfield?
Yeah, I think so. And personally, I'm not starting Travis Hunter because I don't know what
You're
that looks
not.
like. And if you remember, I think the last episode we did, I had him at like wide receiver. I think his ADP was wide receiver 31-ish, and I had him at like wide receiver 48. I'm not interested in that. I want to see that one first.
So he's
I'm
a
not going to
deeper
go.
league play. He's a deeper league play right
Yeah,
now for you.
I'm not gonna go out week 1 and throw Travis Hunter my flex and get 2.5 points. I think I can do better than that with someone else on my team. It's so funny because if you'd have told me at any point last year, week 1 next year, Carolina Jacksonville, you're gonna be excited. I would have told you you're an idiot. I'm excited for this one. There are so many questions.
It's a
Oh,
curiosity game.
yes. I mean, I am so intrigued. What does Jacksonville's new offense look like with Liam Cohen? Like you said, what's that running back situation? For me, I'll throw the dice on a Travis Etienne here. I want to see uh, Trevor Lawrence get back with him, turn back the clock a little bit, use him in the passing game like they did at Clemson for so many years. Does Travis Hunter play defense? I know we talked about him. I don't know. Is Trevor Lawrence going to be new Baker Mayfield? Liam Cohen helped reinvent Baker Mayfield. Can he do that with Trevor Lawrence? And look, on the other side of the ball, what Bryce Young do we get? Do we
Yeah.
get the Bryce? Do we get the Bryce Young we know forever, who's absolutely terrible and an enormous draft bust, or do we get the Bryce Young we saw at the end of the year last year, the one
Yeah.
that was fantasy relevant? And
Yeah.
look, if you take a wide receiver at eighth overall, I mean, get this
And
guy
then you
out there.
trade Adam Thielen. And then you trade Thielen, basically paving the way, like telling Bryce Young, throw the ball to Ted McMillan. I mean, that's basically what they told him with that trade.
He's our guy. Get him out there right from the get go. Show the fans we made the right choice.
Yeah, I agree. McMillan's in my lineups. Hubbard's in my
Yep.
lineups. Brian Thomas is in my lineup. And then everything else is depending on league size there. The Jaguars. I want to see if Tootin gets any carries for the Jaguars, the rookie.
Right.
You're
What's
right.
Tank
It's
gonna do?
right. It's right. It's not a sexy game in terms of being high powered teams, but it's a curiosity game. Like there are questions on both, and you want to kind of see how those get answered, and that's what makes that game an interesting game. Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. I'll say this right now: if you have any Cincinnati Bengal, you play them. Doesn't matter who it is. It could be guys who retired 10 years ago. If you still have them on your dynasty, you play them. Higgins, Burrow, Chase, obviously, Chase Brown, they're all in. Cleveland, it's a whole lot of a void. There's nothing I'm crazy about. Maybe you play Njoku, right? The safety tight end, the safe play. The question becomes to me is the Cleveland Browns backfield. Jerome Ford, fourth round pick, Dylan Sampson, Quinshawn Junkins, who the heck knows what's happening there? So my first question, and you're making your face, so I know that means you have some type of sinister thought going through your head right now. But my first question is, do we utilize the Browns backfield at all? And what is this Jerry Jeudy? Is he a sinister thought for you for the Cleveland Browns? I guess you played Jeudy, but what do you think?
Did you watch the Cincinnati Bengals last year at all?
They can't
Specifically,
stop. They can't stop you and I. If it was you and I, and we told them, I'm going to throw a 5 yard out, you're going to catch it and collapse immediately upon catching it, we'll still get 5 yards every time.
so why are you benching the Cleveland Browns? If we
Because
could
it's
do it,
Joe
surely
Flacco.
they exactly. That's even better. I told you before in the summertime, he's the younger, less tan Jameis Winston. He did better than Jameis for this offense, man. Come on. Jerry Jeudy
So
is going to
so
go over
two QB
100
league, and you
yards.
playing Joe Flacco? Two QB format.
Ooh, ooh, man. Maybe. Um, most of like if you're starting Browns, um, and I like Jerome Ford because Judkins isn't going to play, obviously. So he's the guy. He's a starting running back for a team. They're going against a terrible defense. I don't mind Ford
Flex play or
as
RB2.
flex, flex.
Yeah.
Same with Judy. Judy no higher than a wide receiver three or a
Mm-hmm.
flex. And if you're in a 14 teamer, I don't mind throwing Cedric Tillman out there. Now, if we're talking daily, and you want to be do some different picks, you want to set yourself apart. You're in a GPP. I don't recommend Cleveland Browns in 50-50 league cash game. But if you're doing a GPP, a big tournament, I mean, throw a Cedric Tillman dart. Get some Judy in some lineups. I mean, Judy was the wide receiver. Was he 12 last year?
Yeah, he had a nice season last year.
Right. And it came on at the end, when they get Winston under center. And now they got Joe Flacco, man. You poo-pooed these Cleveland Browns right off the bat, and I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to take some shots on old man Joe,
Total on that game is 47.5.
which is higher than the Kansas City game.
But I can understand it. I would probably take the over.
Yeah. See,
I
there we
probably
go.
would. I mean,
Yes. Yes. I like it.
but I take the over because I expect the Bengals to put up 30.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Listen, I'll take 30 to 27.
Oh, that's a massive score.
It'd be
I,
awesome.
I don't know if Cleveland's able to keep up that close, but we'll see
Probably
some
not.
offense. To me, Cincinnati Bengals offense is must watch TV this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Must watch. Vegas Raiders traveling to the Northeast to play the Patriots. Ashton Genty plays. Brock Bowers plays. No doubt about that for the Raiders. On the Patriots side, a little bit more question marks. Do you play Stephon Diggs? Do you play Travion Henderson or Ramondre Stevenson? Do you play Drake May? I think those are all fair questions. I'm in a two QB league. I'm going to use Drake May. I think, like Omari and Hampton, you have to play Travion Henderson because of where you potentially drafted him. Um, but what about Diggs and what about anybody else on the Raiders other than those two big names? Maybe three when you include Jacoby Myers, depending on the size of the league.
That's it, man. Um, I think this is going to be kind of a weird game. Neither defense was great last year. The offenses, I can't imagine either offense coming out and really making some noise early in the season, especially Las Vegas because so I mean they have a brand new quarterback. Geno Smith's into town. They got a brand
Yeah,
new head coach. They got a brand new running back. They got Amari Cooper. If you care about that, I personally don't. I'm kind of steering clear of this game outside of Drake May, Genty, Bowers, and Diggs. I'm in a position in my league of record where I have to start Diggs. I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I wouldn't say I'm scared either. But all accounts have said Diggs looks good. He's back from his injury, and he's the guy. Who else are they throwing to? Pop
Mario
Douglas.
Douglas.
The guy's
Yeah,
name's Pop. They call him Pop. Okay, he's the little guy. I'm not worried about that. So I'm okay with Diggs. Don't love it, but you could do worse.
I think Diggs is
This
a
is a battle
safe
of
to
the
me.
I think the most exciting part is like the battle of the rookie running backs. Flash and Genty against Travion Henderson. And what's that backfield look like? A lot of people think Ramondre's dead. I personally think he's going to be leading this backfield at least for a while. And I'm interested to see how they use Travion. Are they
Yeah,
going to, is he strictly going to, are they going to get him between the tackles? Because he's pretty good at it. Or are we going to be outside runs? Are we lining up as a wide receiver? So I'm excited to
right.
see that.
What does that carry breakdown in that New England situation? That's another one. That's a curiosity
Mhm.
situation to plan more for the future. And it's understandable if somebody says, I don't want to roll the dice on either one of these guys until I see what it looks like. And you'll have a better idea. Ashton Genty, you're not nearly as worried about. Miami going to Indianapolis, the Daniel Jones led Colts. I'll say this about the Colts. I know people like the tight end Warren, Jonathan Taylor, obviously. I struggle putting any Colts wide receiver in my lineup right now because of Daniel Jones at quarterback. On the Miami side of things, you kind of go in, right? There's too much talent to sit. Even Waddle, I think, gets in lineups. Achan. I will say this, though. If you drafted Achan, or you haven't drafted yet, you better draft Ollie Gordon or add him off the waivers if he's available. Because as much as we like Achan, he's dealing with that calf. That calf lingers. They say he's going to play week one. But Ollie Gordon, 2 years ago in 2023, had 1,700 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns in college. He had a down 2024, slid to the sixth round, but he's already cemented himself as Achan's backup. I'm not saying I'm starting him, but you got to get him on your roster. Are there any surprises in your mind for this Colts Miami matchup?
No, no. If I had to start a Colt wide receiver, it would probably be Michael Pittman, but that's a
Mm-hmm.
floor play. I'm not shooting for any type of ceiling there. I mean, if you get me 5 catches for 70 yards, I'd be
Oh,
pumped
you
to
take
get
that
that
as a huge win.
right for Michael Pittman. You're right. It's so funny, Daniel Jones, and he's the good
Do you think
choice.
Anthony Richardson plays? Do you think
No,
Daniel Jones make it through the whole game?
yeah, as long as Daniel Jones stays healthy, he's out. As far as Miami though, man, Indianapolis' defense was not good last year, especially against the pass. And Tua's healthy, and Waddle's healthy. Pretty sure Tyreek Hill's healthy. They got a track team, and they're playing indoors on turf. So
Yeah,
if Tua can just get the ball in Hill's hands, get it in Waddle's hands, and get out of the way, get off the field, I think Miami can put up some serious points in this one. I feel pretty confident about Waddle and Hill. Achan scares me because he's hurting. That one worries me a
yeah.
bit.
I'm very curious to see if he could survive another year as a full workhorse back
Yeah, I know.
because of his size. Are you going to play Miami Dolphins as a stream defense against the Daniel Jones Colts?
Um, you could. I personally would. I think there are probably better options, but I mean, if you're in a pickle, it's better
Yeah,
than it's better than the Carolina Jacksonville game or probably the Las Vegas New
yeah.
England game. I take
I
I
mean, it's
take
always
my
been a solid philosophy. Play a defense against Daniel Jones. I mean, I don't know anybody who that's been steered wrong on. So,
very true.
um, My New York Giants out on the road in Washington. Terry McLaurin is back. Debo Samuel, Jaden Daniels. I don't think we struggle. Debo is a wide receiver you play depending on the size of the league and
Yep.
how you wide receiver. McLaurin's in, Jaden Daniels in. Now, do you play Ja'Cory Merritt? Do you build whatever his name is there? He is going to, looks like all reports are he's going to start, but who knows, right? Chris Rodriguez, the veteran Austin Eckler's there. We saw the rookie, the seventh rounder from Washington. We saw him soar up draft boards. I saw him go as high as round 6, round 7 in drafts because everybody thinks they found something, right? Everybody's sitting in the draft thinking they're the only person who knows who this guy is. Meanwhile, everybody knows who he is now. Um, are you willing to play him against the Giants defense that potentially is going to be with the trade of Micah Parsons? It may be the second best defense in that NFC East now, behind only Philadelphia. It's a defense that may be better than Dallas and better than Washington, with a pass rush of Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeau, and a strong interior defensive line there. So, like, uh, um, it's a good defense. So the question is, other than Daniels and McLaurin, are you in on Washington's offense?
You've been in fantasy world a long time, right?
Long time, too long, probably.
Have you ever seen a player jump higher, faster than Bill Krosky Merritt?
And potentially undeserved.
I mean, we're talking
The only player I compare it to,
half a dozen
if you
rounds.
remember back when you were like 9 years old and I was 25, Arian Foster of the Houston Texans kind of came on one summer to be the starter. And all of a sudden, he was being drafted in round 6, round 7, and he exceeded it, right? The following year, he was like
Right,
the
yeah.
first overall pick, right? He was an exception. Out of nowhere, round 6, must start every week, stud. But I don't see that for him for Merritt because even if he's listed as the RB1, Jaden Daniels is still going to lead the team in rushing,
Probably.
right? Um, I think he went a little higher than he should have.
Yeah, I agree. I got good news for you, though, buddy. I think this game is going to be more interesting than people think. The Giants' defense wasn't terrible last year. They're bad against the run. Um, but they're going to be going up against 30-year-old Eckler. We just said seventh round pick, Bill Krosky Merritt. I That pass rush you mentioned is going to be
On paper, it
beautiful.
should be very good.
Oh my gosh. Um, PFF, they have the Giants defensive front as the third best in the NFL coming into the season. Okay.
Dexter
Um,
Lawrence, yeah.
right. Plus Washington, 28th ranked defensive backfield. So Neighbors is going to be an absolute problem with this team. So if the Giants are coming in and shutting down the not shutting down, but limiting the pass work, and they're able to throw against Washington, I really think this game's going to be a lot closer than folks. I want to see the spread on this, and I think it could.
It is
I don't want to call an upset,
Washington by 6.
man. That's right there. I might lean the Giants in this one. I know it probably sound crazy, um, but I don't. That I have Washington missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Jane Daniels going to take a little bit of a step back. Tough to take a step forward with the amazing rookie season he had. But I think your Giants are going to be in a good spot here on Sunday.
You play Malik Neighbors on the
Oh,
Giants side.
and that's probably
Tyrone
it.
Tracy is a flex play depending on the size of the league. On the
Yeah,
size of the league, he's going to get the work.
yeah.
So he's a flex depending on the size, not in a 10, maybe in a 12, yes, in a 14 teamer. Russell Wilson is a 2 QB league quarterback at best. Really, the reality is Malik Neighbors is the only must start Giants offensive piece. I think the Giants, the total on this is 45.5. Giants' only chance to win is if it's a low scoring game.
Keep it well, and this is going to help you out as well. Historically, when players sit out of the preseason with contract disputes and all that stuff, they're slow starters coming back,
Yeah, that could hurt
or
McLaurin.
hurt. You're not wishing an injury on anyone, but you're right. This could be a slow game for McLaurin coming back,
It
getting
could
in
be.
shape and doing all that stuff.
It definitely could be.
You don't
Um,
seem excited for your Giants. I'm trying to pump
I
you up
am.
here.
I
Okay.
am.
You can tell by
I
all
am.
of you
For the
grimacing
first time in
faces.
a couple of years, they're watchable. And I don't think they're a playoff team, but they're watchable, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
That I'm not doing other things while the TV is on in the background. Like I could just put it on and watch. Now, who knows? That could all change by halftime. And next thing you know, I'm going to be sending you pictures of me washing my dirty underwear while they're going
Oh,
on.
why would you say the
But
dishes or something? Why would you
nah,
say
let's go all in
dirty?
on it. Let's go all in on it. Why sugarcoat it?
My God.
Um, you know, another game, another New York, and both New York teams playing at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So the remote control finger there is going to be moving quick. Steelers heading to New York to play the Justin Fields Jets. Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. I have Justin Fields in a 2 QB format where I also have Drake May and Jared Goff. I'll be sitting Fields. Um, just based on that matchup there against Pittsburgh, it's definitely tough. And then you got Pittsburgh, which is another fascinating team led by Aaron Rodgers and now DK Metcalf and changes in the backfield. Although Jalen Warren expected to be the feature back at least early on in the season. Um, so I don't think there's much there with the Jets, right? It's Wilson, it's Hall, and it's maybe Justin Fields. I think you agree with me there. And then what do you do with Pittsburgh? It's DK Metcalf and maybe Jalen Warren, right? It's kind of clear cut both of these teams.
I think you buried the lead here. This is Aaron Rodgers' revenge game, buddy.
It could say it's Justin Fields' revenge game too.
It is just a revenge
It's
game.
like they literally were traded for each other.
I know. My favorite part about this game is I hoping I'm going to get my Jets because Pittsburgh's got a tough defense. You don't know what that offense looks like right away. So Fields gets off, he has a bad game. Maybe the Jets as a whole have a bad game. Maybe we can run that into two bad games and I can trade for my QB on the season. 7, I think, is where I have Fields. I can get my wide receiver 11 or 12, which is where I have Wilson, maybe some Brees Hall, and get them on the cheap because everyone wants to give up on them because they're slow start. So that's actually
Mm.
what I'm looking forward to most in this game. But I think the Jets have Buffalo next week. That's not going to be an easy game
That's not
either.
fun.
Right. But then we have Tampa Bay, Miami, Dallas, Carolina, Cincinnati. I got to get my Jets before they go on that run because then that's going to be it. But this might be the lowest scoring game of the week. I'm not looking. It's going to be tough.
38
I
and a half is the total.
yeah, it's probably. I mean, if you told me that's the lowest total of the week, I'd believe you.
I love
It's
it.
going to be a tough one to watch. But that being said, I agree with you. DK's maybe you throw a Caleb Johnson dart in flex, but that's a big time gamble because you don't know what that is Warren the guy. Are they going to give Caleb a lot of work in the beginning of the year? I just don't know. I tell you a name to think about though. Nobody cares that Robert Woods got cut. If you didn't know, Robert Woods was on Pittsburgh.
Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson.
Yes. Is he the new
I've
Randall
drafted him
Cobb?
late. I've drafted him in the last round in a few drafts.
Is he the new Randall Cobb? Right. So
Yeah.
that's just something to keep in the back of your minds.
Yeah, we could be talking about him off the waiver wire very quickly. I drafted him in the last round. Total on that game is only 38 and a half. It is the lowest total of the week, and the Steelers are favored by 2.5. Yeah, this I want to see what Aaron Rodgers, what he actually has. How does he utilize DK? There are questions there. DK will be in some lineups as a third wide receiver, but that's a tough one there.
Nobody
Final
scored
one
three
o'clock game of the
touchdowns.
week. Final 1 o'clock game of the week. Tampa, Atlanta. Listen, Evans is in, Bucky's in, Baker's in. If Godwin sits, Egbuka's in for me. Like I'm in. And that's my only concern is if like Godwin for some reason is active, that causes a little confusion, maybe potentially. Atlanta side of the things, Bijan, Drake May, not Drake London, they're in. Kyle Pitts, no thank you. Michael Penix, maybe in a 2 QB league. Um, I find this game kind of clear cut and a lot of fun. This game on the turf in Atlanta.
Yes, clear cut for sure. But I think it's going to be an exciting game to watch. The only question I would have with any of the starters, because I think you laid it out pretty clearly, would be what you do with Rashad White. Do you
Mm.
think Tampa's going to put up enough points or need to, are they going to be playing from behind and need to throw the ball more where Rashad White gets you flex-ish numbers? Um, outside of,
Are we willing Rashad White to become Danny Woodhead?
right, James White.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Where all
Right.
of a sudden it was a pass catching back only who was giving you 10 to 12 a game. Like I think that's your best case scenario for Rashad White.
I
And
agree.
I think the fantasy, like some people want to will that into existence. Like you never drafted James White or Danny Woodhead to be a running back for you, but next thing you know, you were desperate and you just needed 12 points a game. And in their prime, Danny Woodhead and James White were giving you that. Um, Darren Sproles, another one like that kind of filled that role in the past. Um,
So who would you
I
rather
don't know
start?
if we could. I don't know if we
Hank
could get that out of Rashad White.
Hank Bigsby or Rashad White?
Bixby.
For sure.
Yeah, I think Bigsby will
Okay.
just get more carries.
Okay. And so, okay. So definitely Ramondre Stevenson over Rashad White.
Ooh, probably,
Not
yeah.
definitely. Okay. So
No,
we're getting a little
I
closer
would
there.
do Ramadre. I would do Ramadre.
Okay. So we're a little closer there. All right. What about Caleb Johnson? We just talked about the Pittsburgh game. Him or Jalen Warren, a Pittsburgh running
I'd go
back.
Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't
But
think.
not Caleb.
I think Jalen Warren is at least for week one. Uh, it's not 50-50. I think it's a 60-40, 70-30 fit
Okay.
in front of Jalen Warren. Remember, when you add DK Metcalf, when you add Aaron Rodgers, you're not worrying about developing youth. You're in to win. And I think right now, at the beginning, that's Jalen Warren.
That's a good point. This game, probably what I'm looking at the most is the hopefully improved Atlanta pass rush. They have gone all in, two first round picks, James
Yeah.
Pierce from Chelsea, to see if they can finally. Was it Vic Beasley in 2017? I think led the NFL in sacks, and then they haven't been sack
They've had
relevant.
nothing since. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I want to see. That's what
Yeah.
I'm interested. Probably the
Michael
most.
Penix and his growth is an interesting thing here in this game as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Um, do they actually, get Kyle Pitts involved? But it's really also it's Bijan. And let me tell you something. The fantasy community will be up in arms if Bijan Robinson gets 15 carries and Tyler Algier gets 10.
Oh,
Watch
me.
all hell break loose.
I will hold the pitchfork and the torch if that
Yep.
happens, and we'll go. I'll take a little 10-hour drive
Tyler
south.
Algier gets a 2 yard touchdown run instead of Bijan Robinson. Forget about it.
Oh,
Oh my
oh
God.
God!
All hell will break loose.
But these
Yep.
defenses,
That's that.
like PFF has Tampa Bay as the 27th worst defensive front, and Atlanta as the 30th worst.
Yeah.
So,
So both
the,
teams, Bucky and Bijan, should be able to go off. But if Rashad White and Tyler Algier get in the way, people are going to be
oh
pissed.
man,
It's going to be fun to watch. San Francisco's going to Seattle. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith in the Jigba, Kenneth Walker. I think Walker's in. JSN is in. You're playing Cooper Kupp against the 49ers?
I don't want to. I mean, I'll throw him in a flex if I have to, but I don't want to.
My favorite are the PBR drafts where somebody drafts Cooper Kupp in round 6 and thinks, why didn't anybody else draft him?
I told you. Yeah. I showed you my draft board in my league record. Someone took him in like the seventh or the eighth.
Yeah.
That's
In
exactly
my
what you said.
draft, in my home league draft, somebody was like, Cooper Kupp's still available? Yes,
I
he
didn't know.
is.
Yeah,
All yours.
yeah, but you don't even know he's in Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. All yours. San Francisco. McCaffrey's in. I think Purdy plays. Kittle plays. What about the wide receiver room? Ricky Pearsall in, Juwan Jennings. Who knows what's happening with him? The calf,
Here.
the holdout. I've got Juwan Jennings in some places. I'm really nervous about that draft pick. So Ricky Pearsall has to be in, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he should end up with double digit targets. Who are they throwing the ball to?
Yeah,
Marcus Robinson's suspended. Everyone in that wide receiver room is hurt. They're signing. If any wide receiver hits the waiver wire, they're picking them up.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, didn't they traded for that bust from Kansas City there, Sky Moore? They're just trying to get
Yes.
bodies into camp, right? So yeah, it should be a tough game actually for the 49ers on the road against Seattle. But again, Seattle's, lot of questions about Sam Darnold. Can he do it a second year in a row? I think we wait to see there and find out about that. Can Kenneth Walker run against the 49ers defense? So there are definitely questions there. But I'm in on San Francisco's big three: Purdy, Kittle, big four, because I'll include
Yeah.
Pearsall in that as
Yes.
well. There you go. You like that. That one's for you. Tennessee at Denver. Is there any Calvin Ridley, Tony
Yes.
Pollard? Do you trust them against the
Okay.
Denver defense in Denver?
Let me back up. I love Calvin Ridley for the year. I do not love him this week. The 4K award, poor Titans. The Broncos, they have one of the best defenses in football. They have a solid offense that I think is going to improve from last year.
Mhm.
They're, Tennessee's going to get behind. They're going to have to throw the ball. Patrick Surtain is going to be all over Calvin Ridley. And then what? You're not going to hand the ball off to Tony Pollard. I mean, that defensive front's going to eat him up. They got I don't know. I have no idea what the answer for Tennessee is going to be. There's no way they're going to be within 2 scores of Denver. What do you have the spread up in front of you? Because I
Looking it up.
cannot, yeah, I can't.
Broncos by 7.5. Total
That's
41.5.
it's in Denver.
Yeah.
That is I'm writing this one down. This is another FanDuel as soon as we get off of here.
You're taking Denver? Would you take the over or under on 41.5 on that one?
I'd probably take the under because I don't see how Tennessee scores.
Okay, so
If Denver puts
Can Tennessee put up 14 or 15, and then
that's
you get the 28 to 30 out of Denver? That to me is the question.
right. I think they're going to be 10 to 14 points for Tennessee. I mean,
Now,
maybe they get a lucky defensive touchdown or a big special teams play, get them in a scoring position. I just struggle really with knowing how Tennessee moves the ball. I mean, am I missing something here?
oh no,
Okay.
I'm with you. Yeah, no, I don't trust Tony Pollard. I didn't draft Ridley anyway. Just I don't want a wide receiver tied to a rookie quarterback like that. And there's just not enough other options there. Now on the Denver side of things, yeah, you're kind of pushing in, right? Cortland Sutton plays. We've talked about him on the show all summer long. Bo Nix
Rough,
plays. We love the opportunity for
rough.
Evan Ingram. What about the Denver backfield? Are you even pushing in there?
Yeah, I think so. I would go Dobbins. I wouldn't want to start RJ Harvey if I didn't have to,
Right.
but I'm lower on him than most. But Dobbins, especially beginning of the year before his inevitable injury,
Yeah.
yeah, I like Dobbins in this one because
And I actually like Marvin Mims too. I don't know if I start him this week, but
is
Marvin
he
Mims
hurt?
off the
Is he
waiver
back?
wire.
I
What's
thought he
that?
was. I thought he was a little banged up.
As far as I could see, he's playing this week. I
Okay.
mean, I could be incorrect, but Marvin Mims could be a nice little sleeper pick.
They
You
might
know,
not
that
need him.
last round pick like we talked about.
I mean, they might
What's
go
that?
up 14. They might go up 14 in the first quarter, and they might not even need to throw the ball.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is that narrative of the Cardinals where you're going to get up and then just hand it put it in J.K. Dobbins's gut.
Dobbins hand. Let the
And
veteran just grind it out. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, okay. So, quick question then: if you think they get up early, can you play Bo Nix?
um,
Like you could see a 30 points put up by Denver, but Bo Nix only throwing for 220 yards because he doesn't have to gunsling it everywhere.
yeah, but I think his rushing floor is going to be enough for him to be QB1 for the week, even if he
Bo
only
Nix
has
or
to.
Baker Mayfield?
Baker, just because of we don't that Atlanta defense should be better. They should be able to get out after the passer. But week one, I'm going Baker.
Fair enough. Um, Detroit against Green Bay. Green Bay with Michael Parsons.
Mm,
Detroit with a new coaching staff.
mm,
Um, this one, this one at 4:25 on Sunday. Maybe a little regret not having this one in prime time now. By the NFL.
mhm.
Green Bay, Jordan Love is a playable asset.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs actually plays. Do you play the rookie Golden if you're
Oop.
Green Bay? Do you play
I
Jaden Reed?
I don't play any of the receivers.
So it's just, do you play Jordan Love then?
Um, yeah, I can play Love because a quarterback doesn't need a wide receiver to be relevant. He needs all of his wide receivers to just be okay because they're going to spread that ball around a ton.
Hmm.
Um, I I like Tucker Craft. I'd
Yeah.
start him out there tight end. But outside of that, Jacobs, Love maybe, and Tucker Craft is going to be it for me for Green Bay.
Now Detroit's interesting. I think Goff is a fringe QB1. Two QB league must start. He's a fringe QB1. He doesn't run enough. I understand why people are down on it. And now with Micah Parsons in Green Bay and that pass rush, it's understandable. But Amon Ra plays, Laporta plays, Jameer Gibbs plays. Does Jameson Williams and David Montgomery get in lineups?
Yeah, you have to. You drafted both of them high enough that they're going to be in your starting lineup. I mean, Montgomery he's a touchdown a week guy. I mean, that dude scores for the past like 2, 3 years. He scores every game. It just
Detroit's offensive line is different than last year, though, too.
no, no Frank Ragnow. That worries me. Probably the best center in the game, retired, kind of out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is a loss for the Detroit Lions. You mentioned brand new coaching staff, first game together. They're on the road. It's
Yeah.
outdoors. I think last year Detroit only had 2 outdoor games. This year they have 7.
Yeah.
Green Bay had a top like 13 defense in just about all the important categories. To get Micah Parsons. Um,
Yeah.
my favorite part about Detroit is your Jared Goff. It's a new week, it's a new podcast, and you have Jared Goff on yet another fantasy team after your draft, and you have your Dunkin' Donuts. All is right.
His value
All is
just
right.
was just like I did a
You,
10-team draft recently that he didn't even get drafted.
I can't believe the most unbelievable thing about that is that you didn't draft him.
I didn't.
It's that
I
he
got
went
Baker. I
undrafted
got
in the league
Baker and
you're
Bo
in.
Nix. I got
Oh
Baker and Bo.
my gosh.
I got B and B. So yeah,
You
that
got
one
to
I
get a
didn't
new
have to get
jersey.
Goff.
I
But I'm in
might I
another
might
in
send
a two
you
QB league where I have Goff mostly is two QB formats. I have him in a lot
oh,
of two QBs.
as your QB1.
No, settle down. As my QB two. As my QB two.
Oh, I'm sending you a
Listen,
golf jersey, buddy. I need your address. I'm
that'd
sending
be
you a golf
fantastic.
jersey. Oh man.
If I'll say this, if you're doing a two QB league right, in my opinion, your second and third quarterbacks are interchangeable. That's what you want. You want a matchup proof. You want to match up your second and third QB. Final 425 game of the week, and this one's an interesting one for you
I
because
know.
Houston at the Rams. Um, Houston has some interesting players, like and questions, right? How does that running back room shake out? I don't want to play any of them to start, but you got Nick Chubbs, Damian Pierce. Everybody talks about the sixth round pick. I think Woody Marks was. They have the two young wide receivers there, Higgins. Nico Collins plays. Does Higgins take a next step? I actually like Higgins' role potentially there. Houston has looked for a wide receiver opposite Nico Collins for a few years, right? They brought in Diggs and had Tank Dell last year. That fell apart. So what is it? Noel and then Higgins, the second rounder. One of
And
them has to potentially step up.
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk is there for what he's worth, no doubt about that. Um, so the question becomes then, do you trust that? And what are you doing with the Rams offense?
A lot of question marks with this game. The I mentioned my dilemma, Dak or Matthew Stafford. And the only reason I have that question is because it's a dynasty league. I'm a firm believer in only having one QB because if you have two, you have zero. Um, I don't want to start either one, the quarterback, Stroud or Stafford, if I don't have to. I do think Stroud bounces back some this year. I think Stafford will be okay at the end. This is Houston's got a decent defense. They got a good Will Anderson. They got a decent pass rush. But Stafford has tons of weapons. Um, you mentioned the Houston's backfield. I don't want to start Nick Chubb. I definitely don't want to start Woody Marks. Did you
Yeah,
even mention Damian Pierce? I mean, he's
yeah.
in there too, right?
Well, but that's it. Well, what you hope your worst case scenario is there is all three of those running backs get 6 carries, and there's no
So
clarity.
So I'm starting Kyron. I'm starting Puka. I'm starting
Devontae,
Devontae. I'm starting Nico. And for me, I want to see the rest.
fair.
That's what I want for this game. I mean, PFF has Houston ranked as a fourth best secondary. Do they get? Is that are they going to be able to slow down Puka and Devontae? And this is going to be a really good test for Houston's offensive line because they revamped the whole thing. They traded away their best player, Laramie Tunsil, to Washington in the offseason. They were awful last year. They got, I mean, almost an entire brand new line, and they're going up against that. I guess they're sophomores now, but that dynamic sophomore duo of Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, right? Jared Verse was
Hmm.
defensive rookie of the year last year. Braden Fisk had an awesome year. So they're gonna put this O line to the test, and we might be able to get a peek into what this season might look like for Houston's offense.
Yep. Baltimore Buffalo Sunday night matchup. Um, Listen, you can make a case it's the game of the week, right? Um, you drafted any of these guys, you're playing them. The total on it is the biggest total of the week, 51.5. Josh Allen, James Cook play. Shakir, a fringe wide receiver. People may take a flyer on Keon Coleman. I'm more wait and see how many targets go his way. Baltimore, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson. I think the big names are what you drafted and those players play, right? You with the total is 51.5. You got to get your guys out there.
Yes, I would take the under though. You do have to get your guys out there. I would take the under. Both of these defenses were top 12 scoring defenses last year. I mean, it's not like it's the Bengals, with no defense.
Right.
Um, so and when they played last year, it was, I can't remember the final scores, like 27, 24. I mean, they put up some points when they played in the playoffs in the divisional round. So I'm starting my guys, and I think from a fantasy perspective, your individual players will be fine. I just don't know about that total in the 50s.
Yeah. Is there a
Just because
pass catcher on Buffalo that you have to play?
you don't no, absolutely not. You do not have to play any of them. People love Keon Coleman. I mean,
I want to see it first.
after last year, 29 catches. Yeah,
Yeah.
for Missouri on that one, buddy. You have to show me.
Yeah, exactly. Final game of the week, Monday night matchup, a week from today. Minnesota on the road against Chicago. JJ McCarthy getting his debut. I think Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, they are in. I don't want to talk about Adam Thielen, although he could surprise in a PPR format. I do think he can surprise. They're saying he's going to start right away. Nice little safety net from McCarthy there. Hawkinson is in for me. Chicago's side of the ball, put up a shut up for Caleb Williams, right? People love DeAndre Swift. I think DJ Moore is in. Undunze, I think, is going to be in lineups. He will for me, but we also, with a little like, all right, let's see it. This game is in Chicago, so that helps. Final game of the week. Any surprises or any sits for you in this matchup?
Why is this the Monday night game? Is this what the nation and the world want to see?
No, I want to see. I want to see
You want to see?
Detroit Green Bay on Monday night. That's
Yes,
what I want.
100%. I don't know. I mean, we got questions on both sides of the ball here as far as like real football goes and what you want to watch on TV. You really want to see JJ McCarthy battle it out with Caleb Williams. That being said, what if JJ McCarthy does come out on the road and makes Caleb Williams look silly? I know. I know, man. Oh my gosh. Chicago will burn to the ground.
Yeah,
Poor Ben Johnson coming into that. I mean, I love Ben Johnson though, but Minnesota as a whole last year had a good defense. Chicago's was mediocre at best. But with these young QBs, McCarthy, both of them sophomores, but McCarthy never playing a snap. It
yeah.
feels like let's run the ball, and when we throw it, it's going to be 5 yards downfield. Let's build the confidence of these quarterbacks early in the season, and then we'll sprinkle in some play action nine routes as the game goes along. I don't think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be, you know, JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams both walk out feeling a little bit better about themselves and sort of pave the way to let them,
So you think DeAndre Swift and Aaron Jones lead the offenses a little bit, at least early on?
I do. I definitely do. Again, probably a boring game, which is another reason why I don't. I, as far as how I think the game is gonna be played, I don't know why it's Monday night.
The question is, do two old guys like us make it to the end of the game, or are we turning the TV off at halftime,
There
based on your
is
description?
very close to a 0% chance I'm awake at the end of the fourth quarter. I mean, come on, JJ McCarthy's gonna rock me to sleep, buddy.
Fantastic. All right. Let me ask you one question here, and then we've been talking for an hour, so we'll wrap this up. Who is your fantasy? I've got two questions for you, real quick. Fantasy surprise play of the week. Do you have
Yeah,
anybody?
yeah. Well, I'm gonna do real quick. I'm not even gonna talk about it too much, but I'll give you two guys at each position. Is that cool?
Okay, go for it.
Tua at Indianapolis. We talked about Achane's a little banged
Mm-hmm.
up. We're on turf. Let's go. Sneaky play. Bryce Young at Jacksonville. Looked good at the end of the year. Jacksonville's defense is
Okay.
bad. Let's show the world Tedero McMillan is our alpha. Feed him the ball. James Conner for
Okay.
running back. We
Running
already
backs.
talked about. Yeah, James Conner, New Orleans, terrible defense. Get out early. Put them to bed. And then Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason combo. This is more Jordan Mason because you're starting Aaron Jones if you have him. But look, they think it might be a 50-50 split from the get-go. So I
Yeah.
don't mind that Jordan Mason as a sneaky play. This is not sneaky. This is you're going to start him no matter what. But I really think Drake London has a chance to be the wide receiver one for the week.
Okay.
So that's my caveat with that. You know you're starting London. I really think he's got a shot to be number one. My sneaky play, we already talked about Jerry Judy against Cincinnati, buddy. Get him matched up with Joe Flacco and toss that ball all over the field. You're gonna be playing from behind. Tight ends, I mentioned this Tucker Craft against Detroit. You know
Mm-hmm.
Detroit's gonna put up some points. The wide
Tucker
receiver room
Craft is going to
doesn't
be his number one red zone target, Jordan Love.
100%. And then my sneaky play, don't love it, but how about Hunter Henry for the Patriots going against the Raiders? I mean, outside of Stephon Diggs, who did they throw to? And when
Who's
you're
catching the
digging it,
ball?
right, when you're digging this deep, you're screaming at tight end, you just want a touchdown. Hunter Henry's had 6 TDs on a year, 9 touchdowns in a season. Last year only two, but he's as good a bet as any as getting a TD from your streaming tight end.
All right, here we go. Final question. Upset of the week in the NFL.
Oh man, oh I mentioned it. Oh, is Detroit Green Bay? Is that an upset? Green Bay over Detroit?
Um, Green Bay is
And it,
favored. Green Bay is
okay,
favored.
really? Oh man, I
Two and a
like
half.
that. Then I look,
Two
then
and a
I'm
half.
picking it. I'm picking it, buddy. Your Giants over the Commanders.
I knew you were going to say it.
Listen, I mean, kind of led that way earlier.
There you go. So there you go. All right, everybody. We are going to come at you every week with a preview show similar to this. If you liked it, please hit like and subscribe to the Clipboard Confessional YouTube channel. And give me a follow at A Aniano Fantasy. You can hear me on Sirius XM, as you know. And give Bob a follow at RY. Is that correct? I always forget your Twitter.
Rwall 16, Rwall 16.
1-6, the 1-6, RY 1-6. And if you watch the video, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section as well. We will jump in. Please don't be mean. Both Bob and I are quite sensitive. Um, that being said, Bob, this has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing this again for week two and looking back and seeing how much we got right and wrong here from week one, right, my friend?
Love it, brother. Good time as always. Thanks y'all for listening. You're the man.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy the football.
See ya.